Anyways, we're back. Sunset Jack's happy hour. Live. Coming to you live from St. Margaret's Bay, Nova Scotia. The gateway to Cameron. Anyways, this is a cigar I'm smoking. It's not a Cuban, but it's pretty good. And Johnny Walker Red. So I just want to let you know, ain't some freaking weed or hash make you stupid, you know. I wanted to clarify that. Now, what happens as we get older? You know, we look around us, we see, we see things in a different kind of light. We see, it's like we're crisscrossing. You know, our bodies are going one way and our mind is going the other way. And, the only thing that makes any sense really is the love that we share. So much shit going on in the world, you know. Bunch of fucking bad actors, right? Now, karma's a bitch. It can take fucking, excuse my language, this is not for the kiddies anyway, but it is within the act itself. It either augments you or diminishes you. More musical terms. Who knows? My life might have been worse without music. Every musical thing I've ever been part of, like a love-in, really. The odd bar fight, but I learned not to start them. And the life of an artist, okay? How many people come out to me, oh, I wish I could play the piano. Well, I wish I'd been a chartered accountant, right? But this is the life of an artist. You try to be true to your ideals, true to your friends. It's not all about money. Money don't mean shit. My dad said, you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything. He gave me a lot of good advice, which I never took. My boys thought that's hilarious when I told them that. So what does it all come down to? If I had the answer to that, I probably wouldn't be here smoking this cigar. But maybe I would. Maybe this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm thinking about my friends. I'm thinking about the people. I'm hard to get rid of as a friend, People ghost me. I get that. I've been out here, for half a fucking decade, and some of my buddies can't get on a fucking plane and come and see me. I get that, man. Whatever, But you're missing out because it's really beautiful here by the ocean. And this cigar is getting really low. I'm starting to burn my fingers. I'm really enjoying it. And the Johnny Walker Red, I got a story about that actually. That's for another time maybe. Well, we'll tell it now. So I was living in a rooming house down in Toronto. And, I was trying to get off the weed because I kind of lost everything. I lost my muse, lost my band, I wasn't who I was supposed to be. So I had these bottles of Johnny Walker Red on the windowsill, and I'd take a little flask out to the bar and nurse it with one scotch and soda. So anyways, I got off the red. I got off the weed, I should say, but the booze I could always take or leave it. It destroys a lot of people, but I could take it or leave it because I'll just fall asleep before it gets crazy. In any event, I went back I went back to school. I went back to the choir. Everything was as I had left it a decade before. The people that knew me as a boy, you know, if they had known where I'd been the last 10 years, you know, playing in bars and strippers in the daytime, I never touched them. That scared me. They always drove old cars full of shit, and you know, they always were going to save up for college, and they never did. But they said, oh, we'll come and see you tonight, but they never did. So there was a lot of random people, and when it all came crashing down after a decade on the road, it was like I was starting all over again. And there was a dog that lived next door, Uktuk. It was raining. And I had an apartment on the third floor above, looking out over the balcony of the frat house. And Uktuk was crying in the rain. He was just a pup. So I went over that's a cigar anyways. So I went over the next day and I knocked on the door. And I said, the guy, his owner answered the frat house. They kept me up all night, but I was up anyway. And I said, is that your dog? He says, yeah, he's a Malamute and he's 8 months old and I go to school and I work. And I said, do you mind if I walk him? So I used to walk this dog in the valley by Casaloma. And I would run. And that dog taught me how to run, you know. And I was beginning to heal. And I was all by myself. And there was a black phone that never rang, and there was a TV with one channel with the late night show. And I was lonely, but it was a time of great growth. And I guess the one thing that stayed with me was the piano, you know. And so I'm eternally grateful for that. And I'm eternally grateful for my friends. And I'm just picturing you all now back in Ontario, and my mentors are all gone. They're all gone. You know, guys that let me walk a little taller and, you know, think of myself a little better. And, but I'm still here in this beautiful place. And somehow, you know, I got through it. And anyways, I love you all. I'm sending you this message on Independence Day from Sunset Jack, signing out. Happy hour. Peace, love.